friends, Mrs. Day here. Our story today is called Our Tree Named Steve, and this story is written by Alan Zwiebel and it's illustrated by David Catro. Now this story is perfect for our tree study that we're in right now. I wonder what's going to happen to the tree named Steve. Our Tree Named Steve by Alan Zwiebel, illustrated by David Catro. Now this story sounds a little bit silly. They named the tree Steve. I wonder why they picked Steve. Have you ever named a tree before? Let's read our story. Our Tree Named Steve by Alan Zwiebel, illustrated by David Catro. Dear kids, a long time ago when you were little, Mom and I took you to where we wanted to build a house for us to live in. But in order to build there, men had to come and clear the land. So here comes the family. They want to build a house, but there are too many trees in the way. So the men had to come and take some trees away in order to build a house. I remember there was one tree, however, that the three of you couldn't stop staring at. Adam thought it was crying. Lindsay said it looked nervous. And Sari, who was only 2 at the time, couldn't pronounce the word tree. So she called it Steve. I love you, Steve, she kept saying. And then Adam and Lindsay started saying it too. And before long, Mom and I got the hint, and we asked the builder to please save Steve. So here we go, the big tree, and his name is Steve. The day we moved in, Steve was there to greet us. So here's the house, and here's Steve. He quickly worked his way into your lives as a swing holder, a target, third base, hiding place, jump rope turner. So there's Steve holding up the bats and the swing and the jump rope. And whenever our dryer broke down, he held our underwear with pride. Look at this silly page. Steve turned into a clothesline, and all of the clothes are hanging up to dry. Yes, right there in the center of our yard, this weird-looking tree grew to become the center of our outdoor life. Through all of our barbecues, campouts, dance parties, or when Adam and Lindsay started crushes on the Simon kids next door, Steve adjusted to our every need. And it wasn't always easy, standing tall through the snowstorms in the winter. Or when Uncle Chester napped in the hammock couldn't possibly have been fun. Not to mention the time the sewer overflowed and Steve sucked up all the smelly water before it drowned Kirby. Then got so sick himself that the tree doctor had to give Steve a haircut that made him look like a great big thumb. So Steve drank up all the dirty water, and some of his branches got sick and died, so the man had to come and give Steve a haircut. Through the years, Mom and I have tried to show you, in a world filled with strangers, the place that comes with having things you can count on and a safe place to return after a hard day or a long trip. Which brings me to the point of this letter. Last week, a storm hit our area. Uh-oh, a storm. And though we spared Steve's life a long time ago, this time we couldn't save him. Oh no. A big bad storm came and Steve fell over. That's really sad. Are we sad? Sure we are. But even in his final moments, when he could have fallen on our house, Sorry Swings, Kirby's house, or Mom's garden, Steve performed his last trick and protected all of us to the very end. And friends like this are hard to find. So let's think back to that storm page. Instead of falling on Kirby's doghouse, or on the house, or in Mama's garden, Steve fell all the way over where everyone was safe. His last and final trick. So when you come home from Grandma's next week, Steve will not be here to greet you as he's done in the past. I'm sorry. But please know that Steve will always be here with us, in our hearts and in our thoughts. And in a different tree at the other end of the yard. See you next week. Love, Dad. Now let's peek at this page. Something interesting happened. So here's Steve. After he fell over, they took the wood from Steve, and what did they build up here in the tree? A tree house. They built a place for the 3 kiddos to go in and play. So even though he's not growing anymore, he's still a fun spot to go play. The end. Our tree named Steve.